What's going on, y'all? This is Kev coming to you with another game analysis video. This time I'm gonna be recapping the Bulls and Celtics game 2 in the TD Garden. Bulls pull away late in Boston, 111-97 to take a 2-0 lead over Boston and just take home court away from Boston. I mean, looking at this game. I mean, looking at this series as far as from a basketball fan's perspective, like I am, it's tough, man. It's really tough. I mean, even though I predicted that the Bulls would win in 6, I mean, of course, I really didn't think that, the it would go down like this. I mean, especially with the circumstances that are involved. I mean, I just believe that Chicago had more firepower. I mean, but when you mix that in with a tragedy, striking the star player on the other side, Isaiah Thomas, losing his sister again last weekend. I mean, it just kind of puts a damper on the series, and I'm not giving any excuses to Boston at all. I mean, but that weighs on you. It weighs on, especially Isaiah, man. I mean, he was an absolute soldier in game 1. Was it 33 points? I mean, the dude was, I don't know what he was doing, but it was the stuff of it was the stuff of a really tough SOB. I just want to look at it. I just want to look at it from the look at the box score. I mean, I seen the end of the game, but I'll get to that later. I just want to look at the box score for a second. I mean, when you look at the stat book as far as points and stuff, I mean, you thought the Celtics would have did better. Of course, they scored 97 points, but I mean, you really look at this box score, it's pretty decent. Of course, we'll start off with Isaiah Thomas, only 20 points tonight on 15 shots, so made 6 of them. He was 1 of 5 from the three-point line, and he was also 7 of 13 from the free throw line as well. So, obviously those parts weren't good. He also had 5 turnovers as well. Avery Bradley had 12 points. Not the game that he had in a game 1. Only 2 of 8 from 3-point range. I think he had 4 of them in game 1's loss. Then Al Horford didn't have a good game. Only had 7 points, and he only took 8 shots. I mean, he did have 11 rebounds, but I mean, in order for Boston to even win a game, Horford's got to do a lot more. Jake Crowder had a pretty good game. He had 16 points on 6 of 11 shooting, but again, he was only 2 of 6 from 3-point range. Marcus Smart and Kelly Olynyk were good off the bench as far as production. Smart had 13 points, was 8 rebounds. I mean, he did his thing off the bench. Olynyk also had 11 and 7 rebounds. I mean, but it just seemed like down the stretch when the Celtics were getting close, it was always a couple of plays by Chicago down the stretch that, kind of put the momentum back in both the Bulls' favor. And then, like, late down the stretch in the fourth quarter, with like under 5 minutes, it was basically Celtics were taking too many threes, too many contested shots, and they weren't making them at a consistent rate. I mean, I remember from what I seen, the closest they were was within 2. I think it was like 8 minutes left to go in the third. I mean, it seemed like after that the Bulls went on a run, and then it seemed like Boston kept chipping away. They kept chipping away at the lead, but they were never able to come back to within that close in the fourth quarter. It was just too many ISO basketballs, bad threes taken by Thomas, Smart. They weren't good offensively down the stretch. I mean, looking at it from Chicago's side, Chicago I mean, they did it again. Jimmy Butler didn't have that good of a game, honestly, for the Bulls. Well, as far as shooting, he got it done in other areas. I mean, obviously that a lot had to do, like I said, with the defensive game plan of Brad Stevens. When you're the star player, especially in a playoff series, a coach will effectively try and take you out of the game and try to make your other teammates beat you. Butler needed 19 shots for the 22, only made 8 of them. But he had 8 points and 8 assists. Those are pretty good numbers for Butler, man. Very good. I mean, but the guys around Jimmy Butler really stepped up. Nikola Mirotic, I'm sorry, Nikola. That is his name. I keep getting the guy and keep getting him and Teletovic mixed up for some reason. Mirotic, he only had I think he only had 4 points in game one's win. Comes back with 13 a night. He was 3 of 9 from 3. Had 7 rebounds. And then another strong showing from Robin Lopez. I think Lopez has been the X factor in this series, to be honest. 18 points, 8 rebounds for the guy who mauls over mascots and stuff. Paul Zipser. I'm trying to say it. Hope I'm saying his last name right. 16 points off the bench for Paul Zipser. 6 of 8 shooting, 2 of 3 from downtown. I mean that is the type of bench production that you need out of your bench players if you want to contend for a championship. Big time game out of Zipser tonight, coming off the Chicago bench. And then of course we get to the 2 veteran free agent acquisitions. We'll first start off with Rondo, man. Rondo, 11 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, 1 rebound short of a triple-double. I mean, Rondo looking like he looking like he was when he was a Celtic. Coming back, hurting his old team. Also had 5 steals on the defensive end. He just all-out stat stuffer. I mean, Rondo being that true point guard, he really controlled the game from start to finish. I mean, just like he did in those championship runs from the Celtics in 08 and 2010, leading to the 08 championship. I mean, Rondo keeps playing like this, man. They could be a legit threat to anyone, whether it's Cleveland or not, that comes out of the East, or whoever they would face in the finals if they were to get that far. But I mean, a lot was said about what Rondo did. But of course, I guess I was just a prisoner in the moment. My play of the game, the Chicago kid, grew up in Robbins, Illinois. I think it was just outside Chicago. Of course, the longtime Miami Heat great, Dwayne Wade. 22 points, 11 in the fourth quarter. Just, you look at my Twitter, I was going to say, he shut it down, man. I mean, this dude was looking like 06 Wade again and again. It was basically turn back the clock night Bulls edition. Yeah, Rondo almost getting a triple-double. Wade closing the game out, like he was in Miami. And now the Bulls are only the second 8th seed to have a 2-0 lead over the number 1 seed. Of course, after 2 games, in NBA playoff history. Of course, the first team to do it was, I think it was the 92-93 Lakers. And they had Charles Barkley and the 93 Suns down 2-0. Now, Barkley and the Suns were able to come back. Actually, they won the series in 5 games. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't see that being the ending. I mean, now you're asking Boston to win 2 games in Chicago, the madhouse on Manhattan, and it's going to be a madhouse when they go there for games 3 and 4. I mean, with Thomas's mental state, whatever that's going to be for game 3. They say he's supposed to fly back home to Tacoma, Washington, where his family is, to be with his family. Wherever his mental state is going to be, heck, if he can even leave his family and go play again. They did. Boston did a good job tonight, but of stepping up, of helping them up, getting other guys to step up and help him. I just think it's a really tough task to ask out of this young Celtics team, like I said, especially with this tragedy that's happened all of a sudden. I was reading some tweets and they were talking about the way the Bulls are up 2-0 against Boston, and that's what they say. The regular season really doesn't mean anything when you constantly focused on one team for a 2-week period. I think that's how long it lasts. A series lasts 2 weeks. That helps coaches, to find all the weaknesses in the team that you can exploit. You can't do that in a regular season game. I think that's what's really hurting Boston right now. But we'll see what happens, though. Like I said, this series looking like it might be a sweep. But anyway, man, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Leave a comment, subscribe, and share. And to everyone that's watched this video, I wish you nothing but positive vibes only. Thank you again, and I'm going to see you in the next video.